Oh my goodness, look at this. What a grot. Did I recently see a engine bay like this? And this is the dirtiest one with the most oil locks I've ever seen it. What is it? Is this a new trend? What is going on here? This is absolute chaos, rust protection. Okay, everybody, it's you wouldn't believe it's a 1 kd FTV. They don't leak oil, so if it's leaking oil, I'm going to say, someone's messed with it, right? Looks like a lot of oil. There's even a drip there at the bottom below the crank. It's not going to be that sealed, though. I really don't think it is. We've got to start further up at the top. Hey, do you mind? We're trying to make a video here, all the banging around in the background, mate. The customers, they don't really appreciate that. The viewers are, they like a bit of peace and quiet. They complain, mate. They complain if, there's wind. Well, the ones that don't complain, but some people complain when there's wind, We can't have banging going, look at the rust on this. Just watch it, cars from beach areas. Anyway, I mean, it's a tough Toyota, so it's not going to matter. But as far as this is in an inspection video, we're going to pay a bit of attention to detail to the oil leaks again in a bit more detail, maybe, if possible. But at 270,000 Ks, vehicle inspection, we already know what it's going to need. If it doesn't have the wheel bearings, they're okay. They're still there, but probably dried up, not much grease left, and there's no maintenance on them. So I say every 200,000 Ks. So it's something that probably should be done, as a maintenance, item. Well, that's a bit, that sand on the floor, that is crazy. I nearly went, have a look at the sand. It's like the beach, mate. I know it's a windy, hot day, but it's like we're at the beach in the workshop. Okay, so let's have a look at these bushes. Oh, while we're at it, a little bit twisty, not too bad. That one there, it's split about halfway through, no surprise. Dare I go underneath that 50% split there. Yeah, so just typical. That's about what you'd expect. And on old original suspensions, that's just bouncing around. You can see a lot of sort of, surface rust on a lot of things here, right? Has got a lot of surface rust. So it could get a bit of love, a bit of rust treatment, and a bit of paint. It's got plenty of brakes. It's got plenty of tyres. So let's go on the positive. It's got plenty of rubber there. It's got the good ride radials. What else would you want? The back of the fuel tank stoved in. What has someone done to this vehicle? So that, I would recommend removing that fuel tank guard and smacking that back out, because there's a metal fuel tank in behind there. Well, you got clearance. You can actually see there is clearance there. It has hit the fuel tank. It hasn't punctured it, so that's good. So it's actually nothing to worry about. It was my car. I'd still pull it off and bend it back out anyway, but something there has hit quite hard and into the fuel tank. Plenty of brakes. Looks like it's got the LSI rotors, doesn't it? Did you notice that? Yeah, might not be, but maybe. So that's good. Anything to tell anyone about up the back here? Because you've checked this out, haven't you? Nothing exciting. Any bushes? Anything really? You can check, but what's the point of checking things we know are going to be fine? That fuel filter, that hasn't been changed for a long time. That needs to be changed. Wow, that's a long time, right? So that's every 20,000 Ks, people. Hasn't been done for a long time. So this vehicle needs some love. This is the kind of vehicle that an owner that owns and loves is going to have to get underneath and spend some inox, MX4 on here and on here, all that sort of thing. A bit of rust treatment on a lot of things. You can see a lot of things haven't got any sort of rust or anything whatsoever. Why is this painted black? That's what I don't know as well. Why have they painted that black? Is that, what's going on there? We may look good for you. Bloody rust. Anyway, we already had a look at these oil leaks. What's going on at the back here? Oil filter's going to sort out a lot of this. So that, look, you can't just fix all your oil leaks at once because you don't know what they are, especially when there's this amount of bloody oil. So as far as the inspection goes on this vehicle, what needs to be done? There's no surprises here other than there's more rust and dare I say it, shipload of oil leaks. A shipload, okay? There's a shipload of oil leaks. So change blower control arms or bushes. You can get some cheap aftermarket ones. You get genuine or you can get bushes. Options there. Change your suspension. Tyres are good. Brakes. I didn't look at the front ones. What are the front ones like? They've got plenty of meat. about half worn, fair bit of rust on them. Maybe it's time for some LSI rotors on the front as well. In case you missed that, lsiauto.com.au. And what's the discount code? 4B4-2024. But looking at this, I wouldn't even change. Look, there could be a number of, look, I'm just going to look at there. See the oil on the bottom of the timing cover? So there could be some coming from the timing cover, but it doesn't look wet enough between the timing cover, and it's just an absolute mess. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to recommend oil filter change to fix up that oil leak up that side. A massive big wash down, which is why we've got the bash plates off, so we can get in here and give this a really good wash down to maybe have a hope of what's going on. This isn't a new oil leak. This mess has been around for ages. It hasn't dripped through the bash plate, so it's not that bad, but it's bloody messy. Crank sensor O-ring is probably a big contributor because it's a bit of a clean area there. So that'd be what I would be going for. So I'd go big cleanup. So service, oil filter, big cleanup. I'd go, mate, let me just have a look around this turbo again because there was a bit of oil there. It's not much though. Oh, look, I'd still go for that. I'd maybe just tighten up that oil drain tube, the turbo, right? This one, that's this one up here, right? Where you can see with it. There's not a lot there, really. It's not that bad. So I'm not too worried about that. You got to really go for the... Hey, the sun's nice and clean where we change oil. Look at that, beautiful. No rust there. Yeah, it needs a good wash down. And I'm going to take a guess at a crank sensor O-ring. Could be a camshaft seal if it's coming from right up the top. Some of it. Could be a timing cover or behind the crankshaft seal there on the crankshaft. Could be, but I haven't seen one of those before. And it needs a big cleanup to have a hope of what's going on. So let's just do the cleanup. Let's know that by recommended maintenance, front wheel bearings, suspension, front lower control arm bushings, no surprises. No oil on the rack and the CV drive shafts, everything looks good. Probably a little bit of play on the rack ends. They're either loose or a bit worn, you get that, but nothing too bad. I don't see any other issues except the normal. You know, you could have just guessed that the lower control arm bushes, the wheel bearings and the suspension they're doing without even putting it up and looking at it, which is why it's pretty good to service these yourself because you just get underneath, change your oil, have a look at your brakes, and you know there's really, you know, there's nothing else going to be wrong down under here. Just clean it, spray it, paint it, clean it all up, give it a bit of love. This has either lived at the beach a long time, right next to the beach, or it does. It either does or has or both because it's just crazy, and the area that clip up on the vacuum line's not clipped on properly as well. So maybe it's been out for some reason. I don't know. Maybe someone thought it was a rear main. But let's see, these bolts been touched. Hard to tell with that amount of corrosion on them. Anyway, that's enough looking around. What a mess. Do you feel sick? Let me know in the comments. Makes me feel sick. Still works fine, just needs a good clean up. So bada bing, bada boom. Let's get it cleaned up and maybe get to have a look at it again another day. Catch you on the next one.